Oroonoko, the Royal Slave by Aphra Behn. Characters, Summary, Analysis. Hello and welcome to the Discourse. Oroonoko was a short novella, a work of prose fiction by Aphra Behn that she wrote in 1688, that is 31 years before Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. On many accounts, Behn's Oroonoko can be termed the first English novel that proved to be her best and most popular work. It is a romantic tragedy. Oroonoko is a story of an unfortunate prince who not only loses his kingdom but also his wife and his life. The protagonist of the prose fiction is a black African prince who is deceived and enslaved by a British trader. This makes Oroonoko not only the first novel but also the first fiction that described a black African man as the protagonist. The novel shows all the African slaves sympathetically and is considered the earliest protest against slavery. Characters of Oroonoko, the Royal Slave. Oroonoko is an African prince of Coramantien. He is deceived and enslaved by a British slave trader and brought to Suriname, where in time he leads a slave revolt and then dies. As a slave, he is named Caesar. Aboan is Oroonoko's true friend in Coramantien. Imoinda is the daughter of the general of Coramantien who sacrifices his life while protecting Oroonoko. Oroonoko falls in love with her. Imoinda is also enslaved and is named Clemene as a slave. Onahal is one of the many wives of the king who tries to help Oroonoko. The narrator is a young English woman based on Aphra Behn herself. Her father was going to be the new Lieutenant General of the Suriname colony, but he dies on the voyage from illness. Being a woman, the narrator is helpless and powerless, much like the slaves, with no say against what she finds wrong in Suriname. Trefry is the overseer of Parham Plantation, where Oroonoko is enslaved and kept. He is friendly towards Oroonoko and attempts to free him and return him to Africa. Tuscan is another Suriname slave who first helps Oroonoko in raising the revolt but then betrays him for his own profit. Willoughy is the Lord Governor of Suriname who owns Parham Plantation and never arrives to free Oroonoko. Byam is the historical Deputy Governor of Suriname who betrays Oroonoko by having him whipped and put to death. Summary of Oroonoko. The novel is written in the first person and the third person narrative in parts. The narrator leaves London and moves to Suriname with her father and family as her father is being appointed as the new Lieutenant Governor of Suriname colony in America. However, her father dies of an illness during the voyage. The narrator and her family are kept in the finest house of the Parham Plantation. She then starts learning about the people in the colony and knows more about slavery and slaves. Then she begins the story of one of her favorite slaves that she met in Suriname. His name is Oroonoko, whom everyone knows as Caesar in Suriname. The king of Coramantien is over 100 years old and has many wives. All of his sons died in battles, and the only heir he has is Oroonoko, his grandchild, who is trained soldier and at the age of 17 becomes the captain of his army. Oroonoko is not just a great warrior, he is a man of arts too. During his meets with English and French traders, he learns English and French. During a war, the general sacrifices his life to save Oroonoko as he takes the arrow aimed at him. After his general's death, Oroonoko takes the responsibility for the general in grief. Oroonoko decides to meet the family of the general to offer them condolences and the trophies of his victories. Imoinda is the only surviving daughter of the general. When Oroonoko meets her, she is impressed by his humility. Oroonoko proposes marriage to her, which she accepts. The king hears about the beautiful daughter of the late general, who is now an orphan. He feels lust for her. While the king tries to control his lust as he knows Oroonoko loves Imoinda, he fails to quench his temptation and sends a royal wheel to Imoinda, which forces her to be his wife and join his Otan or harem. Imoinda unwillingly accepts her fate. Oroonoko is heartbroken, but his friend Aboan consoles him and says that the king is too old and will die soon, and then he can marry Imoinda. Onahal, one of the favorite queens of the king, is approached by Oroonoko with a request for help in meeting Imoinda. Onahal arranges a meeting of him with Imoinda in the Otan. As Oroonoko reunites with Imoinda, they consummate their marriage. While Oroonoko is making love, the king arrives in his Otan and catches Oroonoko taking the virginity of Imoinda. Oroonoko soon flees from Otan while the king punishes Imoinda and Onahal by selling them in slavery to Englishmen. Later on, the king feels guilty about his action. When Oroonoko questions him about Imoinda, he says that Imoinda committed suicide to avoid the disgrace of being sold as a slave. Oroonoko is in great grief, but Aboan manages to raise his morale again. Oroonoko goes to another tribal war and after returning receives an invitation from an English trader on his ship. When Oroonoko and his men visit the ship, the English trader deceives them by giving them doctored alcohol to drink. As all of them get unconscious, he shackles them and takes them to the ship to sell as slaves. The ship reaches Suriname, where Oroonoko is sold to Trefry, the overseer of Parham Plantation. Trefry is impressed by the looks and build of Oroonoko, and soon he learns that Oroonoko is well versed in English and French. He befriends him. At the plantation, Oroonoko meets the narrator, who is also surprised by Oroonoko's ease with English. Oroonoko shares his ordeal with Trefry and the narrator. They promise to request the Lord Governor Willoughy to free the prince. Oroonoko is certainly of higher social status and superior education than any other slaves on the plantation, and soon he gains the respect of all the slaves. He is never sent to work as a laborer and is fondly named as Caesar by Trefry. One day, while walking with Trefry, Caesar meets Imoinda, who has been named Clemene in Suriname. She is working as a slave on Perham's plantation. Oroonoko recognizes her and embraces her as his wife. They start living as a married couple in one of the slaves' cottages on the plantation. Soon, Imoinda gets pregnant. Oroonoko feels that it is a must for him to get rid of his slavery before his child takes birth, as he won't wish his child to be termed as a slave's child. Trefry writes again to Willoughy but doesn't receive any response. Oroonoko decides to rebel against the enslavers. Tuscan, another slave on the plantation, helps him gather the African men who accept him as their leader. Soon begins an uprising against the English establishment. Oroonoko and his followers decide to run away on the eve of Sunday when all Englishmen are drunk. They plan to make another settlement near the shore and manage to capture a ship through which they may return to Africa. Deputy Governor Byam is given the charge of suppressing the rebellion. His army encircles the rebels. He manages to have a talk with Tuscan and wins his confidence. He sends a message to Oroonoko to accept all his demands if the rebels come to accept the terms of peace. Byam further promises amnesty to all the slaves and that he will ensure that Oroonoko and his family are freed and returned to Africa. Oroonoko agrees to surrender. However, Byam orders the arrest of Oroonoko as soon as he surrenders and orders Tuscan and other men of Oroonoko to whip their leader brutally if they have to gain amnesty. Tuscan willingly beats Oroonoko tied to a post, and then they pour pepper on his wounds. Oroonoko succeeds in rescuing himself and running away. He meets Imoinda in the woods and tells her that there is no way to freedom except death. He says that his only desire is to take revenge against Byam, who deceived him and ridiculed him in front of his men. Imoinda accepts the situation. She doesn't wish to give birth to a child as a slave and requests Oroonoko to kill her by his own hands, and then he will be free to take his revenge against Byam. Oroonoko accepts and cuts the throat of Imoinda, his dear wife. He plans to kill Byam afterward, but he is too grief-stricken after murdering Imoinda and his own child in her womb. He keeps weeping for 7 days alongside the dead body of Imoinda. He is too weak now and realizes that he cannot take revenge. Meanwhile, Byam's soldiers notice the foul smell while pursuing Oroonoko. As they inspect, they find him. As they prod him, Oroonoko stands stoically smoking his pipe while they chop off his nose, ears, and one leg. Then he falls down dead, and they quarter his body before disposing of it. The executioners cut Caesar's body into quarters and send the body parts to other plantations in Suriname. So this is it for today. We will continue to discuss the history of English literature. Please stay connected with the discourse. Thanks and regards.